Hey, this is Notser, and today we're taking a look at GJ Maerker. This is the Tier 8 German destroyer, the alternative German destroyer. It is in early access as of right now, and in about 2 patches it will be full release for everyone to progress and unlock on their own. I'm going to talk about the ship, my impression overall, and the game itself, and, where to go from there. As far as the build is concerned, main armament protection, steering and propulsion protection, improved gun accuracy, faster rotor shift, concealment for the commander, incoming fire alert, preventative maintenance, last stand, main battery plus AA, adrenaline rush, survivability expert, improved gun range, and then concealment. So I've covered Felix. I enjoy Felix. I like the L-Bing. I would cover that too if I can. Now we're on to the Tier 8. So the Tier 8 is not as bad as the Tier 7. The Tier 7 is very bad. And you can kind of see why based on what's available to the Tier 8. 6.4 kilometer detection. Yeah, that's the best it can have. So literally 100 meters better concealment than the Tier 9. It lacks the AA gun range. As you can see, it's a short range AA. It doesn't have defensive AA. You can't use hydro. It has the longer range torpedoes versus the Tier 7, which only gets 10 kilometer range. But they're long-range sea mines of torpedoes. So all you have is your guns. Now there is slightly a unique torpedo layout on this one. You have one neutral and then one per side. A total of 3 torpedo launchers as an option. But as I said, it's a sea mine. It moves slow. It's hard to consistently land. You pretty much just have to send it on cooldown at high traffic areas and hope that someone sails through the area. Now, as you can probably see, this is like the worst case scenario. Not only are we spotted by radar, but there is not one, but 2 aircraft carriers in this game. So it's tough. Now, we're taking a ton of damage because we want to try and be nice and crafty and capture the base, but obviously that's not the right approach. It ended up costing us probably about 30% of our life. Maybe that'll be the difference between us succeeding and failing. A lot of unnecessary damage. This ship really shines when using the guns. However, 150mm guns, they don't have the same gun velocity, they don't have the same gun damage as the 9 or the 10. There is a evolution of the line, and Wargaming has definitely embrace the concept that we're going to sort of take away functionality or give functionality as we go that will make the line more effective, but as we're moving up through the line, it's going to feel really one note. And that is absolutely what this feels like. Feels very one note, and the guns are not as good as the 9. So if you run up against a 9, a Felix, in a straight fight, man, you're going to hate that. These are basically single, there's 5 total shells on 5 gun turrets. But it does have good German AP. The HE is usable, especially against DDs or bow or stern position ships. And you just need to go as hard as you can on your main battery. There is really nothing else to the line. But I will say, just because this is a gun-focused AP line doesn't mean that you can't capture bases or contribute meaningful damage from range. If you have an aircraft carrier situation like this, you don't need to be the spotter. There's plenty of spotting going on. So I'm just primarily focused on gun damage. Now the Xinjiang gets back into radar position. He wants to punish us again. In our smoke. Friendly aircraft carrier takes out the North Carolina. And all that's left is the Xinjiang in gun range. So I'm trying to get in a position where he can't do as much damage as he's hoping to do. But it's full duration. We do pretty good damage, honestly, on our shells right there. I didn't expect to have that kind of AP damage. It's really tough. Do you fire high explosive or do you fire armor piercing against DDs? It's not really perfect one way or the other. But if you do get really great location on your AP, you can pretty much burst players out. And it's all down to the shells where they drop. Is it going to clip the water and stick in the ship? That sort of thing. It doesn't look like the enemy likes the CV situation. I don't blame him. Aircraft carrier, double aircraft carrier is awful. And it's especially awful with this build. If they wanted to, they could just focus me down and kill me. I could not do anything against it. My AA is purely short range and defensive. We don't have AA, defensive AA. So I can't enhance my damage output. What you see is what you're going to get. And it's not going to be that impressive. So if you ever get in a situation like this, just hope that they have no interest in you, because that's really the only reason I'm alive. Now my team did capture this base with my assistance. Ooh, he's going to take a couple of the Shenyang deep water torpedoes. We have captured the base. I was hoping potentially to catch up to the Shenyang, but I don't have speed boost. Another traditional DD skill that you would expect. This is the German smoke. So yeah, you've got... It really is all about the guns. And if the guns aren't in a position to fire, you're not doing much. So clearly the Shenyang, he retreated. That's okay. An enemy DD is attempting to capture B, but my friendly aircraft carrier seems to be sending a squadron on approach. Now, I do think that, yes, the enemy is going to use a defensive squadron to hopefully interrupt my friendly aircraft carrier from disrupting B point. I would prefer it that he doesn't get disrupted, of course, but that's ultimately what is happening. And we did keep up the pressure on the Shenyang, hoping that we could pick him up, and he is in full retreat. He is right on the edge, 6.4, his detection is 5.8, 5.9-ish, so we have about half a kilometer that we need to cover, and we're not going to do that. This is not what any of these German DDs are good at. Do not try and chase. You're going to see how bad it really is when you chase. But it does mean that he felt like he had a chance to get positive contribution, so he actually opens up, giving an opportunity for not only myself but my teammates to fire on him. Now, I had AP loaded, and if I'm being honest, I should really just fire high explosive because of all the ricochets that are going to occur. But we do get lucky on some superstructure shots, and we end up taking him out. Nice. The enemy Baltimore, very low. Hopefully my team can go after him. We're really low health, and there's a lot of ships left in this game. How do we even attempt to try and survive this with the 2 aircraft carriers as well? Well, we got to play within our means. Didn't play within my means necessarily. It is good that we did get the DD, but what if the DD drops off detection? Never dies. Then we trade health and detection for nothing. So it's very disciplined play necessary for these German DDs. You have to get into a broadside so you can take advantage of your AP on a cruiser or a battleship. You really don't want to go 1 versus 1 against a DD, but you can pick on a DD if you so choose, if he's engaged with someone else. And that's really what you want to do. You want to pick on players who are overwhelmed or engaged with other targets. That way you can ambush, you can do the most damage, the highest damage per minute that potentially the ship can do. And hopefully that's good enough, because between high explosive being mediocre and the torpedoes being sea mines and there's not a lot of consumable options, you really only have the one thing with the guns flanking the target and doing massive broadside accurately on the enemy. Now, notice the gun range that I have. It's not very impressive. It is a tier 8, so you can't artificially, well, is it artificial if it's a module option? You can't use a module to extend the range further. This is the max range that you can expect on your tier 8. The gun velocity does limit that, because this isn't as much gun velocity as the 9, and definitely not the 10. But it is manageable, and it can work. If you take advantage of islands or sort of angling and even your smoke if you have to, it can definitely work. So I decide, let's go into B point, let's capture the base, let's use smoke because there is aircraft and there's a couple ships approaching. Now we're going to use the sea mines, and hopefully we can hit something. I don't have a lot of hope that the sea mines will actually hit anything. I'm really just going for the capture, and hopefully the Veneto will show his side and we can punish him with AP. And this is the story of these torpedoes. They get to watch as the opponent casually sails past the torpedo. We got to be careful. We don't want the dive bomb to hit us, so I'm going to hold my fire until he does drop. And now we're going to open up again. We actually did get our torpedo. One torpedo hit on the enemy. No flood. That's okay. We're waiting out. Hopefully the Veneto will show himself, and he's got slight angling. And we're just going to open up. So just like Felix, very flat, very accurate shells. Very conducive for consistency with the elevation location. So if you aim at the top of the hull, pretty much all the guns are going to aim somewhere at the top of the hull, which is great. Obviously, it keeps it consistent. You can locate for Citadel, but it does mean that it spreads out. So at certain ranges, it might spread out too ridiculous. But honestly, you can just find a better target for that. Now, enemy takes out. We do have an enemy Amalfi broadside. Also, there's an aircraft carrier. Great. We did pretty good damage, but we are in the open, and this is dangerous. So I'm going to hold my fire. Hopefully, our AA can shoot down the target. We're going to send our sea mines on cooldown. I really need to get better with the sea mines. I just don't really understand how to get a hit if the target has any control over their ship. Nice. Nice. Balti takes out the Balti. But you got to send them to even have a chance. So that's all we're thinking about doing. My smoke has about 20 seconds left. So I've got to try and take advantage of the line of sight game. And I'm aware there's a DD that is in line of sight, which he's very close to spotting us. We hopefully are not in direct line of sight, but of course we are when we open up. Also, we've got an enemy battleship on approach from that side too. This is the ideal smoke situation. Multiple targets with multiple sources of spotting, so that either one you can fire on and decide for yourself if that target's the better target or this target's the better target. Since it's a DD, I decide to contribute positively. Teammate wallops him with high explosive. So we're going to pull in the shot. I'm hoping to land on him and actually back out of my smoke. We land 3, and we land a 4th overpin, and we actually kill the DD in his smoke. Got very fortunate with that. That's number 2. Enemy Lenin approaching, of course, and he's going to just shoot right past. Ooh, enemy aircraft carrier does have an attack squadron close, so I need to be aware of that. And yeah, those sea mines, man. You got to send them so far forward. You almost have to compensate for a person coming out of a turn. You have to give so much extra lead, because if you don't give enough lead, then when he gains speed, it's just going to end up not being worth it. Actually, you know, I think we actually use Gunther on this. Anyway, same sort of build as Felix, so you don't have to think much about that. And we got this broadside taken. Yeah, give us a kill, please. Aircraft carrier is still trying to harass us. Nice, nice. Kansas is getting close. We got 20 seconds left. We also have our torpedoes, which thankfully they have a really fast recharge, even though they're sea mines. Now we're just going to track the AP shells top of the hull, hoping that we can kill him before. And I sent those sea mines. It's not looking too good, unfortunately. Oh man, of course we lose our smoke. And now we're all by ourselves here. Looks like he might dodge the torpedoes. He's trying. Our location's very good with AP. Oh, he's going to be so close to taking these. Oh, he's going to take it. Is he going to kill him? Yes! He got taken out. I can't believe. What was he looking at? Why wouldn't he fire on us? That was the 4th kill. Yeah, 4th kill of the game. We are we're in trouble. There isn't any other option. We're just going to take this damage, and I'm just hoping that I can get close enough so it's not horrible, but double aircraft carrier, dive bomb, high explosive, maneuver as best as I can. Doesn't mean anything. And we're dead. And all that's left is the 4 aircraft carriers in the Amalfi, and hopefully the Amalfi goes down to the British torpedo squadron right here. Looks pretty good. Yeah, I think he's going to get him. Very nice. Nice, nice, nice. So 2 versus 2 aircraft carriers that don't have any interest in capturing the base. This ultimately ends up being, you know, the end of the game. So GJ Maerker, it's definitely on its way to being effective. In an aircraft carrier game, you just gotta get lucky that they don't want to attack you. There's very little resources that you can use to get out of jail with these guys. You've got to just place yourself very precisely in and around islands and at range so that you can harass players that show too much side. But if for whatever reason you were spotted, you really need to just get the hell out of there. And this is where I am hesitant to recommend Fearless Brawler. Now, maybe when Fearless Brawler is buffed and it doesn't take away your detection, I would recommend it. But when it's taking away your detection, it really just takes all the options that you have further. And a line that doesn't have a lot of options, I don't really like that. I like feeling like I could conceivably solve multiple problems depending on the type of opponent, and I'm just not feeling that with the sea mines. Their lack of speed is just really brutal. I personally would have preferred the faster, shorter range torpedoes, but that probably would push them too powerful. As it stands, you pretty much want to stay at range and on the opponent's broadside. And that's where you go, what you try to do to give yourself the most success. And if you can do that, you can do very nicely, easily over 100,000. Players would be very annoyed by you. But if you are incapable of playing back, or your team needs you to play forward because there's no other options, it's going to be a really big challenge. You know, you're going to probably regret your DD pick. These are definitely more one-dimensional DDs. And I think that's fine considering the options that are available. And I think that the uniqueness there is definitely worth it. So, JG Maerker, it's a good step up, but we're not there yet. Tier 9 and Tier 10 are really where it's at. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you like it, please like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. You can subscribe to my channel. We do World of Warship videos. My North American recruit invite is on the screen. You can take advantage of that. I also stream at twitch.tv/Notser. Thank you and have a wonderful day.